Hey guys, I am the Comics Kid 2099, and it's been a little while since I've done this kind of video, but I am here to talk about a few
missed opportunities.
Yes, I am here to do a missed opportunities video, this time about the television series Smallville. Now, about a year ago, I did a collection video on all of my DVDs that are my own personal DVDs, and at the time, I had 2 seasons of Smallville. I still have those 2 seasons of Smallville, and in that video I said that I was kind of embarrassed to have them because I don't really like that show. I used to like it, and now I've kind of regretted liking that show, if you will. I definitely think the first couple of seasons are better than what came later, but in retrospect, those first 2 seasons aren't as great as I thought that they were back in the day. My viewing of Smallville basically went something like this. When I first started watching the show, it was roughly halfway into season 6, and then I stopped watching roughly halfway into season 7, and then a year or so later, I went back, started at the very beginning, watched the first 3 seasons and roughly half of season 4, and then I was done for good until the series finale, and then I wasted 2 hours of my life watching that. So that is basically all that I've experienced with Smallville. However, I have always kind of kept a very, very distant eye on the show, at least while it was going on. I would keep up with people reviewing the show, talking about the show, so I kind of have a good idea of what went on when I wasn't watching the show. And today, a missed opportunity that I want to talk about involves Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Lana Lang. If you've never seen the show, basically the first half of the show, Clark really likes his next door neighbor, Lana Lang. She's the girl next door, hence he's her next door neighbor. And eventually they get together, but since this is a teen whiny angst show, they can never really stay together. And so the show concocts a variety of reasons that these two cannot stay together. Eventually she marries Lex Luthor, then I think she divorces Lex Luthor. Basically, in my humble opinion, the show really should have gotten rid of Lana roughly around season 3. They had already at that point kind of sailed the ship on these two not getting together, and at that point she really didn't have any reason to be in the show. Arguably, you could say she didn't have any reason to be in the show for the first 3 seasons other than being the skirt that Clark looks at. But I really feel like she didn't have any purpose when they were creating supervillains for her to date, like that dude in season 4 or the dude in season 3. So I really feel like Lana didn't need to be in the show for about 2/3 of the time that she was in the show. But that is not my missed opportunity. At one point, Kristen Kruk basically decided that she didn't want to be part of the show anymore, so she was kind of written out of the show with the understanding that she would be coming back for occasional guest appearances. And so, after her character was written out of the show, Clark was slowly falling for Lois Lane. Lois Lane had been in the show since season 4, and she and Clark did not really like each other. They were very snippy with each other. They really didn't act like people that you would think, oh, they're going to get together, unless you think that people who don't like each other are going to get together. So we're talking around season 8 or so. Clark and Lois are basically at that point where they're dancing with each other, but they haven't really come clean and told each other, hey, this is the way I feel, because once again, this is a whiny teen angst show, so they're not going to do things that make sense. They're going to do things that will fuel the angst to make it last longer. And then, while Clark and Lois are dancing, Lana comes back home, and then Clark is all back to being, oh wow, she's the girl that I've loved my whole life, and then Lois is all and so eventually, the show had to find a really good reason to get rid of Lana so that she would never ever come back. And they decided to do that by exploding a giant kryptonite bomb around Lana, and she somehow absorbed the kryptonite radiation. So at this point, Clark literally could not be near Lana without physically getting ill. Then that was basically their way of getting rid of Lana. My missed opportunity basically is that I feel like this was the absolute worst way to get rid of the old ball and chain that Clark had for the first half of the show. I feel like they really should have just had a couple of episodes or one episode where Clark realized that he doesn't feel anything for Lana anymore. That was kind of a thing from when he was a boy, and he's a man now, and he's in love with a woman who is Lois Lane. I really feel like we should have had something like that, because as is, when you watch the show, it really feels like the only reason Clark actually got with Lois is because his old ex-girlfriend emits radiation that is potentially deadly to him. And that doesn't really sound good. If any of you lovebirds out there are dating and you found out that the only reason your significant other is with you is because their old significant other is potentially deadly to them, you wouldn't really like that. You would want to know that your significant other is with you because your significant other loves you. And I really feel like that should have been the way that they went with Clark and Lois getting together. They should have brought in Lana, who was Clark's old flame, and then they should have realized, hey, we don't have anything in common anymore. You've dated like 15 supervillains. Maybe you should just go to Metropolis and stay. That's about all I have in regards to this particular instance in Smallville. I actually have many things that I hated about the show Smallville, but this was just one thing that I wanted to talk about for now. It's entirely possible that the next Missed Opportunities video that I do will involve something else from Smallville. Maybe, who knows. Until then, I will see you guys tomorrow with a different kind of video. Not a Missed Opportunities video, but something else. Maybe, probably, possibly a review of some kind. And before I go, if you liked this video, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back with you guys later this week with some other kinds of videos. So, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Somebody say